But yeah, same idea.
All right, what's up, guys? Happy Friday. Got Jack with me. The Niners dropped 15 interceptions in the first half. It's a monsoon. I mean, what am I watching? Did you have the over 5.5 punts in the first quarter last night? Because we had 6 punts in the first quarter. The total was 49 points. We get a monsoon and 6 punts in the first quarter, and it's 3-3 at halftime. And I am like, okay, what's going to happen here? And Debo, is it fair to say that if he catches that ball and they go up 10-3, instead of having to settle for a field goal, the Niners defense probably would have held on, but he drops it. And then the Niners ran out of some gas there, right?
Yeah, no, totally. I agree completely. I actually had Debo over yards. I took it live in game. And so that was an extremely disappointing drop. He definitely got his targets, but that was just like maybe the worst football game I have watched in recent memory. Probably since the Thursday night game where my Broncos lost to the Colts last year. So
at least with 2 really good teams, because and the rain obviously contributed to it. But I mean, look, we're not the gossip. We don't do gossip over here. But Devondre Campbell, linebacker for the Niners. Did you see that? I mean,
oh yeah, I did. Yeah, he just quit.
So first of all, Greenlaw. Go ahead.
Yeah. I saw he got ripped. He definitely got an earful from some guys in the press conference. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like there's a little bit of a story to that. Let the guy like speak his piece before like we really jump to conclusions. But it's almost like that Anthony Richardson, I think it was Anthony Richardson, where he was just like tired and he came out of the game. I'm like,
so this situation is a little. It's not that. It's a little. I'll be curious to hear Campbell's side of it, but essentially Greenlaw came back yesterday and he was the best player on the field for the first half. I mean, he is flying all over the place, 57.
Yeah, coming off injury too, yeah.
So then in the third quarter, so essentially Devondre Campbell had started 12 out of 13 games. He was a free agent from the Packers. He had started 12 out of 13 games. The only game he didn't start was because the Niners ran like a different defense, but he still played a lot. Well, Greenlaw comes back, and their third linebacker, Winters, who is usually, I guess, the fourth linebacker, but because of the matchup with the Rams, whatever, coaching decision. So Campbell's listed as the fourth linebacker. So then I guess he decided, well, then fuck you. I don't feel like playing if I'm the fourth linebacker. And then next thing you know, Greenlaw can't play anymore. The Niners are having Kyren Williams, I think Al Michaels even said it. Like, if you just look at the box score, it's not impressive. But the Niners were hitting last night. And Williams, so anyway, Campbell doesn't play. The Niners linebacker wouldn't have made a difference, to be honest. The game was over because Debo couldn't catch the ball. Juwan Jennings dropped a couple passes. And at the end of the day, Puka made the one big catch, and Kyren Williams just kept the game going. So Rams win. Somehow, right this second, it has just been, it has been really frustrating. I thought the Niners, they did everything I thought they would do on defense. Really dominated. But how many it felt like they dropped 4 interceptions in the first quarter. So
the quarterback play last night was abysmal at best from both guys. Purdy obviously is never really going to be the guy to win you a game, but he didn't do them any favors last night. And Stafford just looked like he was hungover. Like genuinely, he looked completely unprepared, unready to play. And that's not typical. I mean, he's gone 4 games in a row without a pick. He's playing great. He's got the Rams back in contention. Just an absolute goose egg. Missed Cup open a couple times. Missed Puka open a couple times. Finally hit Parkinson on a couple plays. But he just looked completely out of sync.
It looked like McVay won that game. There was a 3rd and 5 when he called a running play to Kyren Williams that they got the first down, was a big call. And then that last play, when they showed the replay and how that motion, and then Hufanga ran over there with Cup or Puka, whatever one it was, and then they threw to the other guy, that was just McVay beat Shanahan again, and the Niners are cooked. The Niners are cooked. I actually got that right before the season. I did not have the Niners making the playoffs, and somehow I bet the Niners last night. So good for me. The Rams control their own destiny, and that they are the definition of the team you don't want to play, right? Like, you don't want to play the Rams. So
they're frisky. Right. They're frisky. Yeah.
So I don't know if you had a chance to look at the time for these games, but the 1:00 games are not really worth discussing. There's 3, probably go up to 5 or 6, but 3 games in particular I wanted to talk to you about. Really important games for this weekend. Let's just start with the best one. We got the Bills and the Lions. I really don't even have an opinion on this. I feel like all my opinions on the Lions are I can't get a Lions game right to save my life. I keep thinking their defense is going to dominate more, and then they give up too many points. They just, I don't know. And then last time I ranted at Dan Campbell for no reason. So I feel like I need to take a step back here and let you give some perspective on this Lions-Bills game. What do you think?
I think the Lions are just kind of a team of destiny, but so is Josh Allen. And so this is a game that I'm really conflicted on because this is a game that I could see Josh Allen marching his team down the field and winning after the defense lets up 32 points. His receivers are dropping the ball. I mean, they're playing in Detroit, if I'm correct. And so it's going to be a tough environment. Like, don't get me wrong. They're not playing it at Highmark in Buffalo. So this is a game I could see going either way. I think Josh Allen's just kind of having that year where the things kind of fall into his lap and he's able to make plays when he needs to. So I'm actually kind of favoring the Bills a little bit here, but not going to confirm that yet.
What is the Bills defense? Did you think that last week that was kind of like an anomaly? It's a high scoring game. The Rams offense is super unique. Or is the Rams offense a lot like this Lions offense and we should expect the Lions to be able to score 30 points?
I expect the Lions to score 30 points. Buffalo's defense is banged up, a little bit old on the edges. Like, I don't really think they're going to do him any favors. But when you have Josh Allen as your quarterback, you're in every single game. And I expect this to be one of the best games of the year.
Yeah, I think it's just one of those where, you know, if you want to bet on something, you don't have to bet against Josh Allen, and you don't really have to bet against the Lions at home. Like, you're probably just staying away from it. Yeah, that's going to be a great game. And it'll probably be – I mean, the Lions still have a ton to play for. Like, the Lions could be the 5 seed. So they better be careful. They're going to play the Vikings one more time. And the Bills still have a shot to be the 1 seed. Speaking of which, that's the second game I want to talk about. Chiefs, Browns. It's a 4-point spread. What is going on here? Jameis Winston at home, 4-point spread. Is Mahomes not playing? No, he's playing. So why is it a 4-point spread? The Chiefs, because the Chiefs only win by 1 or 2 points every game. Is that the reason?
Devil magic. Made a deal with the devil. Yeah, I kind of like the Browns here. I kind of do. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think I like this. The line, I think, says a lot about how Vegas expects this game to go. Because I would have had it as like a 6.5, 7-point spread in favor of the Chiefs, even on the road. But with the line being there, I probably will sprinkle a little bit of money on Brown's money line just to kind of steal one because I think Jameis Winston is a little bit of the exorcist in this situation. He's going to play the exorcist. Fears no evil. Fears no Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and the devil. So
yeah, if I was running a network or a streaming service, I would be going to Jameis Winston with a blank check for a reality show. Like, can I just mic you up while you're like for 24 hours? We'll pay you whatever you want. It's must-see TV. Yeah, he'll have a speech ready. The Browns actually got one thing right in the this season, which is they came out and said that they're going to keep Stefanski for next year. Thank God, because at least for them, I mean,
it's not really his fault. None of this is his fault.
Oh, you think? Yeah, I don't think it's his fault. I think it has something to do with a guy named Deshaun Watson. I mean, yeah, I agree. The Browns accidentally, which is kind of funny because they accidentally got it right with Baker Mayfield. When I say accidentally, like, I don't know if that was the plan. I don't know if it was just like a spur of the moment gut decision. But the owner's like, yeah, Baker's my guy. And then he's like, now Baker's going to do the thing for the Bucs for the next 7 to 8, 9, 10 years, whatever it is. Probably just retire there. And he would have been happy to do that in Cleveland. And now Cleveland will do God knows what. So anyway, that wasn't one of the games I wanted to talk about, but it kind of just threw in there because I was like, wait, it's a 4-point spread. The second game I really want to talk about is the Steelers and the Eagles because I just don't know why it's 5.5 points. It just seems like way, way, way too many points here. Eagles are 5.5-point favorites home against Pittsburgh. Like, just to do a quick little recap here, the Eagles have won 9 in a row, but they're having a little bit dissension here after the game. You know, A.J. Brown wants the ball more. I feel disqualified to bet against the Eagles because that's I fade them all season, and here they are, 11-2. The only thing I got right, got a little bit of my money back, was I bet the Bucs. Last time the Eagles lost, I was on the right side of that with the Bucs, but then 4 or 5 other times I've been on the wrong side of it. But I'm not betting Pittsburgh, so I don't have to lose any money here. Why is it 5.5 points, though? Like, that just seems like way too many points.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the Steelers have kind of gotten lucky a little bit this year as well. They've gotten good breaks. They've gotten good matchups. They've been able to just overpower you defensively and win these, like, 12-6 games. Like, that's kind of their bread and butter. And the Eagles can run the ball so well, and they're dual-threat QB with Hurts, great receiving threats with Smith and A.J. Brown, even if there is a little bit of dissension in the locker room, the talent is there, and I don't think they've played as dynamic of an offense as Philly. And so I can see it being 5.5 points, especially with Philly at home. I think the Eagles win, but may not cover. But I definitely see them winning here.
If I told you the Steelers lost in the first round or made it to the Super Bowl, which one you think is more likely?
First round.
You're not buying. Bill Simmons the other day on his podcast, Steelers, his number one team in the AFC, like over the Bills and over the Chiefs.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't even know if they're fourth now. I mean, I'm just not super high on them. I mean, you lost to Jameis Winston, so like that's one thing. But I mean, I guess we'll see if Mahomes does the same thing. So.
And my Ravens lost to Jameis Winston somehow. Yeah, I don't know if I have the blinders on with Pittsburgh. I surely hope I don't. Ravens will play him next week. There's a world where the Steelers lose this week. Ravens beat the Giants. Can you believe it's a 60.5 spread, by the way? Like, what a slap in the face to the Giants. Like, the Ravens are 8-5, and it's a 16.5 point spread. It's just such an indictment that the Ravens are, just swallow those points. Ravens 45-0 or something. But, yeah, if the Ravens are going to play Pittsburgh next week, so as long as the Ravens win and Pittsburgh falls apart against Philly, Ravens win that game. Now we're in the tiebreaker situation. And that's a big deal. So, all right. So it looks like you're rolling with the Eagles, the Colts, Broncos. The Packers Seahawks is a great game too. But that's a Sunday night game. And I don't know, for whatever reason, I put the Sunday night game out of my brain. It's like, there's only so much my brain can handle at once. And I'm like, I'll just take a few hours because I know I want to take the Seahawks, but I also, I don't know. That just really feels like a 50-50 game. So instead of talking in circles about that, I want to get your expert opinion on the Broncos because if people don't know, this is actually the most impactful game for the playoff scenario. Like if more teams are impacted by the Broncos-Colts game than any other game this weekend. And the reason is the Colts and the Dolphins have a chance to get that last wild card spot. They got to bump out either Baltimore, Denver, or the Chargers. So the Colts got the best chance to do it because they get to play the Broncos. So if the Colts win this game, now they're a game behind Denver, and they would own the tiebreaker. They're 4.5 point underdogs. Both teams are coming off a bye. Both have young quarterbacks. Both have great offensive-minded coaches. I think they're very similar. Just like looks like the Broncos are a little bit better at every spot. Is that how you see it, or are you a little nervous about the Colts?
I'm a little bit nervous. I think we have the coaching edge, and I think we have the quarterback edge. Defensively, both teams are very strong defensively. Both teams kind of lack good weapons offensively, but I think our advantages are in quarterback play, head coach, and playing at home. And I also think we're on a lot more of a hot streak. And I think the team really understands if we win this game, we are pretty much a lock to make the playoffs regardless of the rest of the way because we would have the head-to-head, and then the Dolphins are a little bit behind the Colts. So if we win and the Dolphins lose this week, I think we clinch. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's getting close because then you at least would have the 3-game lead over the Colts, which would put the Colts out of it. I'm not sure exactly what the tiebreaker situation is with the Dolphins. It would be a 3-game lead, though, over the Dolphins with 3 games left, and the Dolphins are at Houston. The Colts could sneak in by surpassing Houston, but they don't have the tiebreaker. So the Colts, the Colts, this game
almost a do or die game for the Colts. Yeah, I mean, we can come back if we end up losing this game at 8-6. Like, there's definitely some things that we can still go do. Our schedule the rest of the way is not extremely difficult.
You get the Chargers on Thursday night, so that would then turn into
that's a short week that could get up. I mean, even at 8-7, we get the Chiefs at the end of the year, and they're going to be resting everybody anyway. So I mean, that's that. I want to say I think we have the Bengals.
Yeah, I believe you do, which is again a little dicey to me. The Broncos. That the Colts are going to have to play a perfect game to win because I think Denver is going to be really locked in. Like you said, this is they might not officially clinch, but they're going to be really close if they win this game. And they get the Chiefs at the end, so it should be a great game. What do you think if the Colts were going to win? What would it look like? Would it be a high-scoring game? Would it be 17-13? What is the pathway for the Colts to beat the Broncos? How would you attack their defense?
Yeah, I mean they have a good defense. I think the way that the Colts win is a lot of offensive mistakes by the Broncos. I think Bo Nix maybe shows a little bit of his youth and potentially throws some bad picks, maybe in the red zone, giving the Colts a short field, stuff like that, maybe some bad play calling, just like general discomfort offensively, which is kind of the opposite of what we saw last week or 2 weeks ago.
Because the Colts are going to have a hard time going 10, 11 plays against Denver's defense.
Correct. Yes. Our scheme has been unbelievable. Guys are stepping up and flying around. Like if I saw the Colts winning, this would be like a 17 or 21-10 game or so, where Denver makes a lot of bonehead mistakes, maybe outgains them more yards per play, but throws picks in the wrong place, fumbles, bad play calls, missed field goals. Like I think Denver has to lose this game more than the Colts have to win this game.
So transition, take a little – I want to do a little bit on Bill Belichick. There's always so many topics we could talk about, but this one's fascinating to me. Did you read – I don't know how much you read the Wickersham piece on ESPN. Did you get a chance to read that on how the machinations of it all happened? Essentially what it came down to and what I want to get your perspective on was that he just didn't think there was going to be a job open for him in January. So the logic was this Carolina job's not going to stay open much longer. The transfer portal, which we're going to get to in a second. Like college, you got to start moving around here as a college. So, but what I wanted to talk to you about is the infrastructure that Belichick's bringing to the University of North Carolina, because it's not unique. There's other universities that are doing it, and I know that it's a passion of yours, and it's fascinating to me. But they're like building it out with general manager. So Mike Lombardi is going to be the actual general manager of the football program of North Carolina, handle the recruiting, handle some of the stuff that happens in the NFL. Like, is this, I guess it's a two-part question. One, do you think he'll be successful at North Carolina specifically? And secondly, is this like the way forward period for every other major university? Like get a head coach, get a general manager, and just run it like like an NFL team? Or is this because Belichick's 70-some years old and just doesn't want to do some of the things that some of the younger coaches might want to do?
Well, if I'm correct, Andy Luck is actually doing the same thing for Stanford. So it is not the same. I mean, this premise has been around for a while. Just some teams just don't have the infrastructure or they drive for.
Woj is real quick. Woj, the former reporter from ESPN, is doing it for Boston College.
Yeah, exactly. So like this is not a new idea. It might be new like to the public, but I mean, people have been doing this for a while. ADs have like contributed to football programs and stuff like that forever. So I like the idea. I don't know if Bill Belichick can deal with the immaturity of college players. That's the thing. He needs, and as a like when it comes to recruiting, I think he's going to be able to recruit just based on his precedent that he set, his reputation. But getting 17 and 18-year-olds to commit to that and commit to his process is going to be extremely difficult because it's a lot different than 28, 29-year-old guys who've been in the league for 5 years.
So here's the thing. It was before he had a 24-year-old girlfriend. Now he's the coolest guy and now he's the coolest guy in the gym. Now it's the coolest guy in the locker room. I feel like I listen to a lot. He loves to teach. I think I'll bet every prop I can on North Carolina. I am super duper in favor of somebody that's really good at their job being pissed off and having like a motivation to prove everybody. Yeah, I didn't mean to make whatever. His girlfriend's a lot younger, but I do think that helps in a way to relate to the younger kids. As you're rolling your eyes at me here, but I love this fit for Belichick, and I love the idea of groupthink in the NFL and all of them being like so. I don't know, stupid is just like can't think of a better word right now. But how many times do we watch bad coaching decisions week in and week out, time management, not knowing what to do? And you're telling me Belichick can't get one of those jobs?
No, I agree with that. I have an issue with Belichick won, and Belichick's schemes and Belichick's the way he ran the team was off discipline. And it's easy to discipline a player that went and played for a terrible franchise, joined the Patriots, realized, okay, this is how you win in the NFL, and then you move forward from there. It is very, very difficult to discipline college students, college players that are living the prime of their life realistically. It's hard to run that same ship, that same tight ship in college. And I don't think he'll be able to do that. Saban is realistically the only guy that's been able to do that. And so I'll be curious if Belichick has the drive and the patience to be able to implement that from scratch at his current age.
He's going to get – I bet you a lot of the transfers they get, he'll take a lot of the guys that are on their fifth year. Like, let me get one.
That's true. But still, I mean, you can't start all 24-year-olds in college. Like, you're going to have to recruit from the bottom up at some point. You can't just reload transfers.
Do you know much about the North Carolina program? Like what kind of situation it's in right this second?
Yeah, I mean, they have a bunch of money, but like at the end of the day, like the way college football is transitioning to now is like a lot of people think that as long as your transfer class is good, then you're going to have success. And I mean, we saw that with Florida State this past year. The majority of the guys they were playing were transfers, and it was an absolute shit show. You still have to be able to recruit from the ground up, and that's why you see teams like Texas, Ohio State, Georgia, Alabama having success because the guys that are actually staying are the guys that are like role players, the guys that are actually contributing and having a high impact on the team. So
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how far Clemson goes because Sweeney is the only one with no transfers. Like him and the basically him and
the Army and the Navy, yeah, all the military academies. So pretty interesting there. But at the end of the day, you still have to be able to recruit. I'm not sure if he's going to have the patience to be able to recruit these 17, 18-year-olds with their mom and dad in their ear. So
should be fun though. Should be fascinating. Good for college football. That's not arguable. That's definitely good for college football. All right, so we still got a week, but literally a week from today, we'll get Indiana, Notre Dame, and then that following Saturday, we'll get the three other playoff games: Texas, Clemson, SMU, Penn State, and then Ohio State and Tennessee. So next week we'll go through all those games. The bowl games are scattered around, but hey, if you're gambling on them, they made it really convenient. They're all by themselves pretty much, at least for the next week or so. I am desperate to figure out the relevance of any of these bowl games that aren't involved in the playoffs outside of gambling, and I can't find it. So we're just going to find the gambling aspect and talk to me here. Who's playing, who's not playing? Is there one of these games, a couple of these games where you looked at the line and you're like, whoa, that one doesn't make any sense, or I really like this, or frankly, anything that you want to talk about with the rest of these bowl games? Because if you're not betting on them, I don't know what the relevance is.
Yeah, or you're a fan. So something I like to do is I like to take a look at what quarterback is ending up starting for a lot of these teams in the bowl period. And I ended up being profitable with this last year. And so I love to take a look at their backup and see if that's somebody that I want to take or that's somebody that I want to fade. And so like I kind of have a growing list here of backup QBs. Like Louisville will be on their backup. Coastal Carolina and Marshall will be on their third and fourth string QBs respectively in these games. And so those are going to be teams that I'm going to be looking to like take advantage of in the bowl game. I don't know if you remember a couple years ago, but LSU with Nussmeier actually didn't want to burn his red shirt. And so they started like a wide receiver at quarterback or something. And they got their asses kicked. And it was the freest bet of all time. The line jumped like 4 points. And it's like, you're not even starting a guy that's ever taken a snap.
Last year, that game was your Bulldogs, right? Like everyone, I don't know. Did Florida State have a bunch of players just not play, right? Like,
yes, correct. Exactly. And so those are lines that you can take advantage of because Vegas doesn't know how to handicap. So just going down the list again, Cal might be starting their third string. Oklahoma and Georgia, obviously both starting backups. Those two games are a little bit differently, especially Georgia's game. And then we have teams like Iowa, Pitt, Wazoo, South Alabama, who plays here soon. Those teams are maybe going to be on their backup QB. Haven't gotten full intel on that yet, but pretty crazy to look at that because, I mean, you can really learn a lot about a team based on what guys are actually going to end up playing. And that's the things that Vegas can't handicap.
Out of all these bowl games, how many bets do you think you'll play? Half of them, most of them? Will you have prop bets in there? What was your philosophy last year, and what do you plan on it being this year?
I probably will do mostly straight spreads here, just places I see value. Ohio, the Bobcats is a team I see a lot of value. They have lost no one to the portal. So I really like them. They're a great team. If I'm correct, they just they were in the MAC championship. I didn't really watch that game, so I'm not really sure on the outcome, but they were really good this year, and they're going to be the exact same team. And every other team is only going to get worse for the bowl season just due to drive and due to losing players. So that's a team I have my eye on.
So players have already entered the transfer portal, and they'll continue to do so for the next couple of months, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, you have coordinators leaving. Texas Tech is another team I have circled. They've lost both coordinators already. So
I'm so glad you said that. That is where I get my coaching bias. Everything comes down to coaching for me in the NFL. Basketball, at least in the NBA, kind of roll my eyes sometimes at the coaching. But college basketball, college football, the NFL, I'm always looking at coaching. Yeah, if you lose coordinators, betting on the bowl games, you either have to do one of two things. You either have to put aside a really solid amount of time to do the research, or you just have to just laugh it off and be like, I'm just guessing. Because you just rattled off a whole bunch of stuff that like requires in itself its own like research. Like you said, who is the backup quarterback for Louisville? He might be really good. It's not an automatic fade just because the coordinator left or the coach left or the quarterback's not playing. It could be a benefit. But one thing I do like, I don't know much about Ohio either, but I am in favor of a team that's excited to be at the bowl game for whatever reason. Either they're not usually there, or it's a better bowl game than what they're typically at, or they had a better season than they thought they were going to have. And then there's not that many guys in the transfer portal, because that to me says we're going to be locked in at practice. That would be a good indicator that that's a good team to potentially bet on. So, all right, well, what we'll do is let me double check these bowl schedules. And there's a game. So Navy plays Army tomorrow, and then Western Michigan and South Alabama.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. South Alabama is one of those teams where they might be playing their backup QB. I did just check. Ohio was the underdog in the championship game and won 38-3. So not only are they riding high, but they have lost no players. So that is a team that, unless the line is absolutely unreasonable, that's a team I'm going to be backing just based on those two things.
Cool. Yeah. So we'll do another pod before all the bowl games start. And then what I would like for you to do to help people out is if there's any games before all the bowls start. Because one of the things I know I like to do, I'm sure some other people like to do, is put a big parlay together with a bunch of the bowl games. So that way, as the weeks are going on, it's like, wait, I do have an active 5-team parlay here. I just need to win one more. So hopefully before all the bowl games start, if you have any bets that you love, we'll put them out there. And then as the days goes on, you'll just put out whatever you have. I don't want to force anything for the bowl games, but I have an opinion on a couple things, and frankly, appreciate what you just said, because if I got the time, get married here at the end of the year, but I would like to dive into the research, because you can find – it's funny, like bowl games and preseason football, like sometimes you can feel like a degenerate betting on them, but the truth is you have more information in those games than like regular season football, where it's like everyone's trying their hardest. I don't know exactly what's going to happen. Preseason football, you do a little research here. Bowl game, it's kind of the same vibe.
Finding an edge is a little bit different in those situations than just middle of the season, run-of-the-mill NBA game.
All right, it's 3 days in a row, so let's do 2 minutes on Corbin Burns. He's going to be an Oriole, right?
Yeah.
No, he's not. Where's he going to end up?
I have no idea, honestly.
You're checked out because the Rockies are not active in free agents are in free agency this year, are they?
No. I did see a funny tweet about somebody actually reached out to the owner of the Rockies and was like, hey, let's sign Soto. Like, we have all this money. And that the owner actually responded and said he has made it extremely clear he wants to stay on the East Coast.
You know much about, does he have a lot of money?
Yeah. They own a massive like meat and cattle conglomerate. So they have the money, but the Coors Field prints money. So they're not too worried about the team being good.
All right, not to make you too depressed, but is there any franchise you would rather be a fan? Like, is there anybody in a worse spot than the Rockies?
I would say the A's, but like I don't even know about that. Like they're going, they're moving. Like they have something to look forward to.
Yeah, they're going to move. They're going to play in Sacramento. Lord knows what the hell they're doing. But yeah, my Orioles are not going to sign Corbin Burns. It feels like every second that goes by. I don't know, but I hope they do, and appreciate you doing this afternoon. And I'll have J. Martin Clayton tomorrow morning. We'll do a little bit of Army Navy and start diving into more of these bowl games. And I'll see you. We'll coordinate it, but sometime early next week, and we'll hop on and do all these other bowl games and see what bets you got.
Awesome, sounds good.
All right, enjoy the day, guys. Enjoy the weekend, and I shall see you tomorrow. See you, man.